Fade in. Exterior, a street in pre-World War II Tokyo. Midday. Title, Tokyo, January the 26th, 1941. The street in front of the Japanese branch of the National City Bank of New York. The street is covered with a thin film of snow. Crowds move back and forth quickly, Japanese men mostly, dressed in sober dark suits, but also the occasional vendor pulling a large wagon or, with her head bowed, woman. The women are young and officious and also dressed in dark, businesslike fashions, but sometimes they are wearing bright kimonos. The overall visual effect is of a series of monochromes, from the black of window frames and wrought iron fences to the dark gray of stone walls to the steadily dirtying white of the snow, but all this dotted by an infrequent bob of color. A car pulls up in front of the Japanese branch of the National City Bank of New York. A well-dressed Western man emerges. He enters the bank. Interior, the bank, a moment later. The well-dressed Western man stands in line for a teller. After a moment, he reaches the front. Male Japanese teller, with a strong Asian accent. "Hello, may I helping you?" Well-dressed Western man, speaking with a northeastern Ivy League accent. Konnichiwa. Yes, I'd like to convert some yen to US dollars. Teller, "How much?" Well-dressed Western man, reaching into his jacket and pulling out a big envelope. "Well, it's rather a large amount." Jump cut. Interior, the bank, just behind the well-dressed Western man. Another Western man, also well-dressed, taps the first on the shoulder. Other Western man, with a Latin accent. "Mr. Bishop." Bishop, first well-dressed Western man, startled. "Oh, Dr. Schreiber, you surprised me." Schreiber, somewhat anxiously. "I'm sorry. May I have a word with you?" Bishop, "Shoot." "No, a private word." "Sure, just a moment." Bishop turns back to the teller, finishes his business, then turns back to Schreiber, who is clearly agitated. Schreiber, whispering, "What I have to say is of paramount importance." Bishop, "Oh, all right then." The two walk to an alcove. Interior, a close-up of the two men. The business of the bank continues in the background. Schreiber, "What do you know about Japanese foreign policy toward your country?" Bishop, in a rather hale tone, "Well, it's complex, isn't it? That's what the Japanese do so well, make things complex." "Well, of course, there is complex, but there is also hostile." "Good God, why should the Japanese be hostile?" "You are interfering with their aims." "What, in China?" "Well, yes, in China, but also." Schreiber turns his head and does a quick, nervous scan of the bank. Then he turns back to Bishop. "Well, it would seem that since they signed an agreement with Germany and Italy..." Bishop, shaking his head. "Oh yes, a foolish business that. Very bad form." "Well, since they have allied into an axis, there seems to be a change in your government's attitude toward them." "Well, I should hope so." "But why? You don't fight in Europe's war." No, but we thoroughly disapprove of it. We disapprove of fascism." "But that is a European movement, not Asian." "No, but in Japan it might turn into something close enough. And what the Emperor's people are doing in China right now, it's very shameful." "Mr. Bishop, we are both diplomats. We know countries do not pick fights with each other because they think one country's actions are shameful." No, that's true, but we can express disapproval." "At the diplomatic level, surely, but not the policy level." "What are you driving at?" "The Japanese have noticed a change in your government's policy toward them since they signed their agreement. They view this change as a provocation." Bishop, a little pugnaciously, "Well, they can view our policies any way they want. Maybe they might take it as a sign they should change some of their own policies." "Mr. Bishop, I have to speak more plainly." Again, Schreiber scans the room. Bishop, looking at his watch. "All right, then." Schreiber whispering. What I have to say will shock you. Bishop, distracted, again looking at his watch. I'm sorry, Doctor, I don't mean to rush you, but I still haven't eaten. Schreiber, whispering very forcefully. Listen to me well. Japanese forces are planning, in the event of trouble with the United States, to attempt a surprise mass attack on Pearl Harbor using all their military resources. Bishop pulls back from Schreiber, obviously shocked. Come again? Schreiber, noticing a Japanese bank manager who has noticed them. I must go, mark my words. He disappears into the crowd. Bishop looks after him, somewhat slack-jawed. Interior, an American governmental office, the next day. Title, The U.S. State Department, Office of Secretary of State, Cordell Hull, January the 27th, 1941. An assistant approaches Secretary Hull, who sits at a desk. Assistant, holding a cable. Sir, we just received this from Ambassador Grew in Tokyo. It's urgent. Hull, taking the cable from the assistant and speaking with a southern drawl. Thank you. The assistant starts to leave. Oh, one moment, I may need you. The assistant waits. Hull looks at the message. He sighs audibly. Beat. Hull finishing the message. Get me Army and Navy intelligence. Yes, Mr. Secretary. And make sure the appropriate brass sees it too. You mean the Admiral of Pearl? Hull, distantly distracted by some other thought. What? Assistant. Do you want me to pass this along to Admiral Richardson as well? Oh, still distant. No, Richardson may not be serving in that capacity much longer, actually. I see. So would you like me to pass this memo along to whomever replaces him? Oh, same voice. We'll see. Assistant, trying to be helpful. Well, in any event, the Navy commanders will see it if Naval Intelligence sees it. Yes, you're correct. That's right. Well, that's fine then. Assistant, would you like me to copy the cable for Admiral Richardson anyhow? Oh, still distantly. No, as you said, he'll get word, or the new fellow. Then snapping out of it and folding the cable neatly, Hull looks directly at his assistant and manufactures a smile. That will be fine. Exterior, an aerial shot of Pearl Harbor at Hawaii. SFX, low, rather ominous music. Voiceover. An intelligence functionary reading text from a message sent to Admiral Kimmel, the commander of the fleet at Pearl Harbor during the attack. The Division of Naval Intelligence places no credence in these rumors. Furthermore, based on known data regarding the present disposition and employment of Japanese naval and army forces, no move against Pearl Harbor appears imminent or planned for in the foreseeable future. The voice stops reading the text. The screen blacks out. Beat. SFX. The slow, insistent wail of an air raid siren, followed almost instantly by explosions. Then, silence.